Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Rockefeller with Prison 101, and I'm going to give you the 101 of what I wish I would have known in going to jail and going to prison. They are the same but different, and what I'm going to explain is the personalities. So, the stuff I wish I would have learned, right? And going in young and just kind of getting to the story and kind of explain the things that I wish I would have known. So the difference from jail and prison is definitely people that have time. A lot of jail people that have been sentenced to prison have stuff. If you haven't had a prison sentence, you go chill with the fish. You go chill with people that haven't been to prison, that aren't violent, that aren't down like that. Unless you have very, very serious charges, then you go to max custody. Max custody is where DOC inmates go. They always try to keep, the guppies away from the shark. And as you do time and create your crimes and you work your way up to prison, you start learning these ways, which end up makes it easier to go into these places, so prison and jail. So stuff I wish I would have learned when I went into jail. And if you got charges and hear this, and I'm gonna give you recommendations, and a lot of this is very common sense, but when you're in there and you're new, you just sometimes don't think. So the first, I dropped a story about listening to other prisoners or talking about your case. Me, I didn't talk about my case, right? But what happens is a lot of people with high profile cases, and I've been around the people that have had high profile cases, you know what I mean? And I've heard about, a guy came into my pod, a lawyer was talking to him saying, don't talk about your case on serious cases. These guys will get a ticket home that, looking at 3 years or something, but they'll be let out to testify against you. So what the biggest thing is, no matter what your charges are, don't talk about your case because you might be someone's meal ticket home. And don't speak about stuff you haven't seen. And it's kind of weird. A lot of people, when they go into jail and prison, they sober up, they clean up, and it's a lot about respect. And that's how kind of people have been able to survive prison through a lot of respect things. So I'm going to tell you my transition from jail and prison. So in jail, what I learned was, of course, don't talk about your case. I thought that was really straightforward, but some idiots would, man. There would be people that would straight up snitch on them. Go to court. Hey, I get to go home. I'm not doing this 6 months. Give that dude 40 years. I ain't doing this 6 months. Crazy. So another thing that I made a mistake on was listening to inmates. I was talking about my prelim. And if you are not very certain that, this could be thrown out, like, what you have. And I wouldn't recommend even going this with a public defender. You have your own attorney that will actually not work with the state and wants to work for you. So when you get a prelim, they give you a plea deal, and it never came worse. So what I did was I listened to an inmate like a dummy, took this to prelim, right? I ended up getting maxed out. I would have got 6 months taken off the year I got in county, and a year taken off from the community correction DOC part. So that was a tough lesson. He was like, yeah, and they always were like, I was like, oh, that's why they always want you to weigh your prelim. And it's not. You're always going to be found that there's enough evidence. But they just don't want to spend all the money because it is a costly money to have you have to get all the witnesses, all the people testify, you got to pay. So they just skip all that. They just get you, bam, waive your prelim. You have that plea deal arraignment. You can plea out to it, get it out. That's something I had to learn hard because I got an extra, basically a year and a half of my sentence on a little 3-year bid. I got straight maxed out because I listened to some other inmates that were just having a plea deal and take that and waive my preliminary. So another thing that I learned was that you have to get on a routine. You have to stay, working out. You have to stay reading books. You have to stay positive up here, because you're either gonna grow, or you could literally kill yourself. It is so boring. It is so the same thing over and over, and you're around, pods can have anywhere from like 20, 30 extra, all type of different egos, all type of different people, all stuck in one confined space. So what I learned was that when I ended up going in there, I was very hooked on drugs, very tiny, skinny, and just started working out all the time. Working out was the biggest thing I learned from when you get locked up and go in jail and prison, because a lot of people will actually want to kick it with you. You'll have a solid group. Plus, you're getting bigger here. You're getting bigger up here, and it's a stressful situation. It's either your predator or your prey, and if a lot of people in there don't get money. So if you're getting money, and if someone's just like, man, if I can scare dude and he can just pay me money, shoot, yeah. And then if you let that fly, everyone else is going to try you. Because why not? Like, you're just sitting there, you'll let someone come take everything you have and not do anything about it. And then, everyone wants a piece of that. So, man. So, when I went into jail, what I learned too was get working, stay in a routine, and don't get caught up in the bullshit. Now, another thing that you need to do is you have to stand up for yourself, no matter who it is. At the end of the day, I swear, sometimes you will lose, but you will get a lot more in weight if you will stand up for yourself and even fight, and even take an ass whooping. Not literally, but literally lose a fight, than being a punk and leaving it out. You have to fight when you go to jail and prison. You have to. Because, like I said, what it comes down to is some guys that have done a lot of time are just like, they'd rather, go straight to dude and no dude's going to give it up, except for dude that's going to fight them all the time. Now, don't get me twisted. That does happen at times. Like, sometimes you can get an ass whooping every single day standing up for yourself, but most of the general time that you're in there and you stand up, people have respect. And then, when you're in Colorado, it's very race divided. So you'll be there and you'll need to stand up for who you are, and the other, at least when I was in, the white boys respected that. So I got a lot cool with the white boys and stuff like that. So we ended up going to, so the biggest thing about jail and the transition of period, jail was kind of like weak. I'm gonna be honest. You could act like an idiot, goofing off, joking around, and all that stuff. When you go into prison, it's a lot more serious. It's a lot more things. You still in jail if you got called the BITCH word. You have to fight. You have to stand up. So when I went into prison, that's when gang politics were huge. So what I learned, if you wanted to make it through prison without catching one more time, you had to stand up for yourself and fight. And hopefully something weird doesn't happen. I had a fight one time in my cell, and I got a good hit on dude, and dude crashed on the floor. Like he blacked out when I hit him, and we came back up, and we were cool. But at that second, he could have smashed his head, and ain't no judge trying to hear you're fighting in my jail. You're going to get smoked. You can get murdered. You can get crazy. So when it came to prison, what I learned was that another big thing, honestly, was unless you've been there, unless you've been there to see it, don't speak out. Because when I was young, I wanted to appeal to, look cool for some reason to the big gang members, the huge dudes. So I remember I was sitting at a table. I'm green at this time, and I go in and I'm sitting with these, very affiliated white boys, and I'm feeling like cool. Like, everyone looks at me. I'm chilling with the biggest gang members. They're chopping it up about. They're chopping it up that about playing poker. Some that we're eating at the trim. This is the biggest thing. If they're sitting around you, they feel like you're okay to sit around. You don't have to speak up. You don't have to talk. See, I had this way of thinking that, oh, I need to appeal to these guys. I have to feel like I need to talk to someone. And you don't have to do that, man. It's enough that you can sit. They're sitting by you that all right, this dude's cool, right? So, and it hella got me in a lot of trouble, right? So, me and dude, big dudes, been down a long time. They're talking, and dude was like, yeah, so something about energy drinks in a canteen, you could use tokens again. So me, knowing that I'm a fish and green, I said, oh, I've heard that. And I swear I got this right. They look at me and say, have you been there? Like, dang, this little kid, like we think dude's cool, but dude is just speaking up about nothing he's been a part of. Like, why is he talking? So what I learned when I went to prison is man, you pretty much don't need to talk at all unless you've experienced it. Because you don't have to look cool. You don't have to you can still be a solid dude. You know what I mean? You're way more solid when you speak about and you don't have to be included in any conversation and butting in conversation and everything. And that's what hella caused me a lot of time was, I'm going to give you another crazy thing when I went to prison. And this is going to trip y'all out. So, when you go to prison, at least for me, the gangs and stuff and the people, like, they didn't want you much to bucket the system. And what I'm going to explain is how I got in thinking I have short time. I know when I'm getting out. I'm straight up mandatory release date. You cannot keep me longer unless I was to catch new felony charges. I got all my stuff done, so I don't care. I want to, for some reason, get my name out looking cool, right? I'm flipping off guards during count time. I come down during count time. I'm bucking at the system, everything, thinking that's cool, right? I'm going to tell you what they had for my ass, right? I was living with a dude. His name he went by Jack. He was a 2'11 guy, and my next door neighbors were 2'11. Lucky, don't remember the other dude. And so I flip off the guard. Boom, flip him off. Say, fuck you. Trying to be cool, you know what I mean? Like, and I'll explain the reason why this is, right? So sometimes, actually, the guards are down with the gang members. They're cool with them. You know what I mean? They'd be like, if you run your people, you do your thing, then we don't have issues. I'm going to kind of turn my way to you having extra stuff and all that stuff. I ain't going to shake you down all crazy. You know what I mean? Just make sure, no violence, nothing crazy happens. So I had to learn this the hard way, right? So, boom, guard and another guard while I'm at work. And in prison, you have to work a job. So I went to work, boom. They go to my cell. They hit my cell, which is usually normal, right? Well, really, the gang members and stuff, they kind of have a cool thing. Like, okay, we'll handle our people. There ain't nothing going to go on. And, you know what I mean? Like, they'll look out. They won't take your stuff. So they hit me and dude's cell, right? So, they leave all my stuff. I'm not supposed to have. It was crazy, bro. They even left a yellow sheet about what they took. Me, none. This dude that's been down for, he had a 10-year sentence. He was down from, our numbers weren't that different. It was a 160 number, 168. So 8,000 people. It wasn't that far off, but he was down for a minute. Went from a medium to a minimum. Dude comes, the guard grabs everything extra from me he's not supposed to have. Leaves all my stuff. And then takes it all. Dude goes back and be like, why did you let my cellmate keep all this stuff and make me? I've been here for years and you just let dude do that? The guard tells the affiliated gang member, right? He said, your cellmate pissed me off. So we came up and we took all your shit. We took all your stuff, right? So I'm out the weight pile lifting weights with the white boys and chilling with the white boys and everything. And Lucky comes down and fucking calls me out in front of everyone. Fucking another crazy situation because I'm gonna fight all my own people. Like, I need to stand up for myself, but when you have to take 20 people that can come at you, it's a little bit different. So dude says, go home, go home. That means hit my cell up, talk to my cellie. I go to my cellie, and my cellie's like, I got nothing for you, dude. Like, dude came up, and this is the craziest thing. He said, yo, you need to go holler at that guard. I don't know if dude made a little thing like, hey, I'll take care of him if I can get some of my stuff back, whatever. He's like, dude, you need to go. I swear, this is crazy. Really affiliated guys, very down with gangs and everything, said, you need to go say sorry to that guard, and nothing. I'm explaining the reason why. When you have that type of, he asked me to go apologize to the guard, which I did. You know, like, straight affiliated gang members, I don't want no issues. Like, there isn't no one-on-one fights. There's nothing. And I don't care whoever you are will say, oh yeah, I stand up to all the Bloods and all the Crips. Like, nah, bro. Like, you did not do time standing up to very, very 20, 30 guys that have been lifting weights, everything. I don't care who you are. I've never seen it, never will. There's a lot of BS to say it. So they end up telling me, and I get the lowdown of what I should have learned and why. They kind of have this agreement, and then they can pretty much, they're not allowed to bring in drugs, but they're not looked at as much. So they can slip in drugs. They can make wine. They can take care of business in fights and get in less trouble, and they can keep all their extra stuff they're not supposed to have. They won't get shaken down pretty much at all because they're like, hey, we don't mess with the gang members. We keep this. They run their community, and then we can run it, and we just have a good, you know, kind of knit thing. And it's crazy. It's really dirty and grimy. And that's what happened to me. And it was crazy, man. And that was the biggest thing that I learned in prison. Like, man, just do your time and get out. Don't try to be cool. Don't try to be making a name for yourself. You knew when it comes down to it, you need to fight. You need to stand up for yourself. But don't try to buck the system because you're just going to end up losing. And it's crazy because, and it makes sense because the gangs want to move and they want to keep, you know, have contraband. They want to have all this stuff. And, you know, the guards don't want to come at it clashing with gangs. So they kind of make this little agreement of, and that's how things roll. And that's what I ended up learning a lot. And so, ended up getting in a fight. I had my whole eye scratched, like, couldn't see out of this whole eye. Like, got the better of me on that one. And I ended up going out. And then, you know, then I just did my time, man. I did my time. I changed to a porter job, which I loved. I didn't need the money. It was an easy, simple job than going to working at the farm that you made some more money milking cows and standing to poop for freaking 8 hours. Crazy, man. Porter job was awesome. I loved it. You know what I mean? And did my time, goofed around, joked around all the time, and then I ended up leaving. And that was because it was like I was a half and half. I was a convict inmate, but at the same time I didn't bucket the system, you know what I mean? I didn't try to just flip the guards off, you know. Try to just do, you kind of, it's how you move under the radar. So those are the couple things that through my transition that really hit me hard. That if you're on bond and you're going to jail, that's the kind of stuff. And the biggest thing is, it was when you get booked, when you get down, you know, it's going to be a new experience, and it's kind of hard to learn while you learn through mistakes, which can be big fights. You can get stabbed, all that stuff. So what I recommend when you step into there, you go straight, put your bunk up. That means you're not scared of no one. You know, don't stand around. Don't ask stupid questions like the TVs. There's only one channel, and it's usually like football or something like that. And you know, you're very limited. You don't get to order, like, you can't have delivery outside, you know. Just common sense. What you see around is what you get, you know. And a lot of mistakes a lot of dudes had was thinking that inmates were their friends. And don't share your PIN number. Don't share any of your stuff. No one's there to help you. There are some decent guys in there, but more times than not, you're gonna get your money stolen, your PIN stolen. So when you go to the phone, you use your PIN, and people say, "Hey, I need help." And dude would be like, "Yeah, I'll help you pick that up." Like, dude steals your PIN number and then using all your time on calls. You know what I mean? And then, so don't go in there, put your rack up, sit back, you can chop it up, but no one's there to be your friend, man. Just sit there, do your time, kick back, watch and learn from other people's movement. Don't speak on stuff that you haven't experienced and gone through. And the best way is be around like-minded people. People, when you get around people, sometimes y'all just click. And other times your head, and don't try, especially if you're young. Don't try to be cool. Don't try to look like you're cool to other people, because it's just gonna end up bad. It's just gonna be a bad situation, 100% around. Don't try to buck at the system, because they got something for you, and even the gangs really don't ride like that. They want to fly under the radar, bringing in drugs, having knives, beating up, people that have violations, anything like that. Keeping contraband, even the extra stuff, and they do get looked out for to not really get shooken down, hardcore stuff taken, unless one of the guards is pissed off. So another thing is, don't try to buck at the system. Don't just go in there. It's going to be a big change and difference, but just stay focused, get books, build yourself up here, work out every single day. It really takes your mind off. It helps you. And try to be a different new person. And that's the best way, honestly, to get through in due time. So there's just a little story time. It was kind of all over the place, but it was kind of just getting out the stuff I really got through my head, and I had to learn the hard way. And I wish I had a video like that to kind of explain the stuff to me. So when I'm having this situation, I can think of like, okay, all right, this is what I'm seeing. Bam, But I hope all y'all, anyone that see this, if you're doing time, much love. And you know what I mean? If you do, take it like a man and go in, and kill it. Kill your time. And do your time. Keep your head down. If something comes your way, you need to take care of it and act on it. But at the same time, just do that and you'll be alright. Most of the time, you'll be okay. If you're a pretty solid dude, people, people flock together that are from the same feather. So you're pretty solid people will be around you. You know what I mean? So, Prison 101 kind of went on a kind of spur, but hit that subscribe button, give me some good likes, and I'll start getting some pin stuff up for the pictures and start putting into, stuff together. So I'll see y'all later.